This is my grief. And this is me. My mind, my body, my soul. This was when I lost my son. My world shook. It crashed. It left me numb, completely stunned, unable to move, unable to make decisions, exhausted, not knowing what to do next. And I realized that this was not a sustainable way to live, because if I could not manage and nurture myself, how would I be able to support anybody else? And that's exactly what I was doing. I was supporting everybody else. How do you get from here to here to here? Now, same grief, different me. And I want to talk about this a little bit more, because there's a lot of science that's been put behind this theory. And I want to illustrate something to you. For anybody to get to this point where the growth is not necessarily in the grief, but in the person, because ultimately the story is the story and the grief is the grief. It's this that has to change. But I want to illustrate, before I get into that, I want to illustrate something that's really important about grief. Why is it that our grief keeps resurfacing? Why is it that it keeps on coming back, wave after wave, and it feels like we're drowning? It feels like the world is coming to an end. It feels as if you cannot survive. You feel stuck, exhausted, numb. And if there's anything that you ever want for yourself, guilt or fear kicks in, preventing you to enjoy a single moment. But that's just how grief works. It's the body and mind's protection mechanism to protect you from yourself. So, what is it that we do that keeps us in this, with our world shaking and everything feels so tight? Well, for a very long time, I took my grief and I suppressed it. I suppressed my grief so hard, I didn't want anyone to see it. I didn't want to make it awkward for anybody else to mention my son's name, to bring him up, because the world wasn't ready for it. And all the time, I was feeling numb and I was feeling exhausted. Exactly the way I'm feeling now. My hand is actually going numb and it's getting tired because of the compression I'm putting onto this ball. This was the way that I was handling my grief. And when I thought I'd got over it, when I thought things have slightly eased and I eased the pressure, it came back. And that's what grief does. It hides. It waits. It waits for you when you think it's okay to come out. It's okay to loosen the grip a little. This is what happens. It comes back, and if it's not dealt with, it comes back heavier, and there's more to deal with. So let me share an example with you about suppressing my grief. When I found out about Hashim, I went to the hospital. But I made a decision while sitting in the car, in the hospital car park, that I would be the supporter, that I would be there for my partner, for my children, for my parents, for those people, friends and family around me, for my team at work. And I made a conscious decision that my grief was second. Didn't matter. And so I squeezed and suppressed and tried to flatten my grief, thinking, I'll get over this. It's fine. And it wasn't, because what was happening was I was getting triggered. I was constantly angry. I was upset, annoyed, being triggered on the smallest of things, because I had not looked after my backyard. I had not looked after myself. So my question is to you, have you prioritized yourself when it comes to your grief? And look, I get it. It's really tough. It's a tough time to be in after losing your son or daughter. Things are so confused, you can't think straight. I totally understand that. And that's why it's really important to get the right kind of support, to be able to go from this to this, where the griever needs to make the change, because the grief will always be there. Yes, over time it does fade, it does blunt, but when it does resurface, it hurts. And for me, it still does resurface, but I know how to manage it, because I don't want to lose the memory of my son. I don't want to lose the ache of his loss. So I've learned how to manage his grief, to be able to enjoy the memory I had of him. So if this is you, where you are feeling stuck, where you're getting wave after wave after wave of grief coming into your life after losing your child, think about what I've just shared and seek some support if you haven't already started. So here are 2 small steps you can take to start this process off for yourself. You can follow me on this channel, and I've pasted a link in the bio, as well as pinned the same link in the comments. There you can sign up to my weekly emails, where I will share insights, experiences, and dad stories over the last 20 years.